Hello everyone, and welcome to this game of StarCraft that is actually from a little in-house BroZone Layer Tournament that we've been doing. And this is going to be a PvZ here on Yansu. And in the upper right-hand corner, we are going to have our purple Zerg participant, who is the DukeofSwag. And his opponent in the bottom left, our blue Protoss player, it is going to be the NegusofNay. I am Thaco, and I'm joined here today by Snow. How are you doing over there, Snow?
Very good. How's it going, Thaco?
I am actually doing wonderful. Really excited to
Now,
watch some StarCraft.
me too, especially because this Duke of Swag is actually me before I changed my name, so I've now moved to Snow because it's, a little bit better of a name, I think.
Getting a little bit away from that BroZone Layer tradition of, nobility title of blank.
Yes, of random attribute. And but yeah, this is gonna be a good game. So PvZ, great. I always love PvZs. Always an interesting matchup.
It is, and it can either, end incredibly quickly as either player does a very aggressive play, or stretch on forever.
Yeah, the wide variety of strategies is always just interesting to me in this matchup, given the versatility of strategies available to players.
This is really seeing, NegusofNay going for that very safe in-base gateway. Not really being aggressive or, greedy at all. Neither is the DukeofSwag. You're going for that nice 14 pool. Playing very defensively. You don't want to fall prey to any type of cannon rushes or anything.
Yep, and especially because this is, obviously not a pro-level game. I was a little worried about some kind of cannon shenaniganry.
It's true, and it's the first game in a best-of-3 matchup. It is the perfect time for some cannon shenaniganry.
Exactly. Don't want to fall early prey to that. Just when those cannons drop down, don't want to be panic mode.
You really do want to just be getting into your opponent's head at this point. Unfortunately, a little bit of a supply block going on here for the NegusofNay as he's trying to get a Zealot out of his gateway, but is unable to.
Indeed. However, he should clear that out pretty shortly here. Yep, there he goes.
Fixed. Looks like, is that around a 16-ish hatchery that got tossed down there?
Yes.
Yourself?
That
Okay.
would be 16 hatch. And just trying to get the economy up here, which is going to be a good play against the single basing NegusofNay here.
Going for that fake cannon there before going for
A fake gateway.
A fake gateway. This is really holding on to his resources, not showing us a lot of what he's going to be doing here yet.
Yep, indeed. He's banking up a little bit here. Not a lot of tech coming out. The warp gets started.
Waiting for that warp gate. That would indicate to me a more want for some early aggression.
Yes, I would agree. I wouldn't be horribly surprised if he went into something like a 4-gate or a Stargate play here, just to try and get some early aggro, get in my face. Especially because it's like I said, best of 3. How better to come out swinging.
There are 2 more of our gateways and a Stargate coming in, so
Oh, hey, there we go.
that fits the criteria pretty well. We're 1 gateway short of a 4-gate, but that extra resources are going to be going into that Stargate. DukeofSwag trying to run up there with the Zergling to get any scouting information he can, but is going to be unable to glean any information other than that there are Zealots on the map.
Well, also no Nexus down here for him too, which is going to be a pretty good tip off that some early shenanigans are coming.
That is very true. The economy is starting to get rolling up here for the DukeofSwag. It's a little slowed down by that 14 pool because there just wasn't as much larva being thrown around.
Yeah, it's a little less than ideal, but it's still better off than the NegusofNay at the moment.
It is true. He is sitting solidly on 1 base and really not looking like he wants to expand. Getting the Oracle, so that to me does indicate he knows he's behind. He knows he hasn't gotten that economic lead yet and wants to go try to take it away.
Now, and here's the dangerous thing. We do see a Roach Warren coming out, which is, pretty good for safety on the ground here. But there are no spore crawlers to be seen in the base of the DukeofSwag.
There is no type of anti-air. There is really good vision in some vital air zones, though, for the DukeofSwag. So we're going to be interested to see if this Overlord catches vision of that Oracle. It does.
Now the real
Question of, was the
question
DukeofSwag watching?
yes, now that would be the real question here. And given that there's no spores going down yet, I'm going to go ahead and say that no, he did not notice.
And without extra queens, I think the Oracle can get in these mineral lines, and we're looking at 6, 7 minimum lost drones here.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty brutal. That economic lead?
Skipping right through the natural, we're going for the main. No, okay. Found the natural.
Sitting just... Oh, there he goes. There he goes. And
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not 6. Nope, gonna stick on 5 and get right out of there and going up into the main. Didn't turn off the cannon on his way to the main, though, so wasting energy as he sits. Attacking the extractor? And it should be... Ooh, second Oracle is here. They're gonna take out the Queen and be able to get in before this Spore Crawler finishes up. If he's smart, target that down, get rid of that. Force these drones to be pulled. This is not looking good for the DukeofSwag here. He's got to get these queens together, right? I mean, if he doesn't get some type of anti-air put together, there's not a whole lot more he can do here.
there is a spore down at the lower base, though, so at least for now, the economy is going to be safe. And now energy runs out for the NegusofNay. Now that's really going to be what shuts this down more than anything else.
Well, that was 9 dead workers.
Now, the real kicker here, though, is that still 2 base to 1. So,
Well, NegusofNay, feeling like he's at a bit of an advantage, is going to start streaming units across the map. But coming in a little piecemeal here, as that Stalker is going to get picked off for free before the Zealots arrive, and the Zealots are... It's more of a move command, it looked like there.
yeah. Now, however, given the Oracle attack, the DukeofSwag seems to be in shambles here.
A common reaction to losing that much of your mineral line, and Drone Pole is going to help protect these queens, but the Zealots are already on the Queen. A good transfuse comes out. Queen finally does fall, but the roaches pop, and this should be cleaned up handily here. Not without heavy losses, though.
Yeah, the amount of drones there lost is going to be brutal.
This feels a little painful.
Yeah.
All those drones died. There was no pullback there. After we get a bunch of these Zealots cleaned up, we're going to check that tab to find out what the final damage was. Duke is moving in an Overlord there just to scout out a little bit. 26 workers have died so far.
Yeah, now that's a really brutal loss. In fact, that's almost game ending in most situations here. But there doesn't seem to be a real follow-up other than finally dropping an expand from Mr. Nay.
And with Spore Crawlers in the mineral lines, these Oracles can't really get back in to do damage.
Nope.
They do have enough energy to start harassing again, but not enough to be efficient.
Also, we see a Dark Shrine and a Robo Bay come down from NegusofNay, which Dark Shrine follow-up to this is kind of, I don't know if it's a pretty questionable call given that I have detection now sitting ready-made because of the Oracles.
Well, it feels like the NegusofNay has really good ideas of how to harass. He knows what he needs to be doing, but he has no knockout punch.
At the moment, yeah.
End the game.
The knockout punch that he's going for is countered by his earlier strategy. So.
But Dark Templar aren't really a very good knockout punch, even without detection being on the map already. They're really good for harassing.
That's quite true, but he has made a good move getting an expansion down here, although he needs to get double probe production going here from his main as well. Also, a Zealot run by here at the attempted third. Looks like it's going to be fairly successful with only a small Roach hit squad around for the Duke.
Yeah, Duke's sitting on 3 Roaches as his entire attacking force, as he's been trying really hard to replenish these bases that he lost in that aggression from the Oracles. The Warp Prism just finished up, too, for the Dark Templar.
And, given the amount of economic damage done, this is a pretty risky play out of the Duke here to almost just cut army and hope to get that economy back up.
Well, the Duke's got a macro hatch down well, so he does have the larva production to, with good scouting information, build a snap army and be ready to go.
That is true. Also, we still do see some decent vision given some Overlord placements. Armies should be spotted.
Well, these Dark Templar look like they might actually be able to make their way in pretty effectively because the Roaches are down by the third, engaging the Zealots a little bit there. And an additional warp in a Dark Templar means 8 Dark Templar are going to be up in this main base. That can... Oh, Zealots were warped in, not Dark Templar. That's a questionable move, but he'll be able to take out these Spore Crawlers pretty quickly if he decides to focus them down, and that will give the Dark Templar free reign. He is trying to, but not with enough control to fully get everything on there. It's about half health, focusing some of the Zealots onto those drones. He does have free reign over the lair, and sniping your opponent's lair would be pretty devastating to them. But the Roaches are coming back now, and with that one Spore Crawler, he's got to fall. There's no detection in the main base. This actually means that the Zealots are the only things that can fall here, and the Roaches are going to be torn apart by those Dark Templar, as it looks like you do have an Overseer being morphed in, and that is... I mean, Duke is just biding his time running around Roaches till that happens, trying to block anything he can.
The second warp in a Dark Templar was, I would have to say, a poor decision of gas, given that detection was clearly morphing there. But he does get out with those 4 additional Dark Templar he warped in, but what use are they going to be from now on is questionable.
Well, he got rid of any detection, static detection in the main, so now he just has to know where the Overseers are at all times. And he can pick off later hatcheries or just, have them in the army and be a nuisance with them.
The other issue here, though, is the Zerg players is stacking money at the moment. There's enough money that economic damage is kind of a moot point, as like the amount of production up and money in the bank seems to be very high.
The DukeofSwag has really held steady through all of this aggression and gotten a pretty... Well, I mean, he's held together and been able to produce and really have a much larger army, I want to say even. Yes, that's 19 Roaches to 3 Zealots, 4 DTs, and 2 High Templar. That's an army you can move out with and kind of just win the game. Because Storm hasn't been researched, so those High Templar are worth an Archon right now, and that's about it.
And, honestly, this seems to be the case of, like you were saying earlier, harassment with no follow-up knockout punch, and it's gotten to the point where it's just the Zerg player's been on up bases for too long, and no ground army is just going to spell the death of here.
Yeah. I mean, these Zealots, I would say with Storm, the NegusofNay can hold for a long time, but he doesn't have it. He hasn't started research of it. He's just been adding additional gateways, even like a few Void Rays, let's be honest right now, a few Void Rays.
Yeah. But there's a huge attack on the natural going in, which is going to be devastating. However, that's a lot of resources committed to this attack, given that there's a huge... there goes the army from the DukeofSwag moving forward. And now this is going to be brutal, given that there's only a few Zealots there.
Oh, they are just melting. DukeofSwag, though, focusing on the High Templar a little bit, giving a lot of free time for those Roaches to be killed by the Zealots.
But also here we see there's another huge roast force being produced to deal with the issues in the natural. Now the worker count is decimated, but in terms of army, there's a huge army to no army at the moment.
Yeah, and that's a situation where, especially when your natural is falling, I would rather be the one with the huge army.
Yep, and given no drones, but full production capability, some money in the bank, and ability to get an economy going versus having Roaches, half the Roach army of the Zerg blast down your front.
And also, I mean, all these choke points that the NegusofNay has built for himself look good on paper, but as soon as you're funneling yourself into Roaches, well, that's not a good situation anymore.
Now those Archons are going to do a lot of damage here, but he's held for a little bit here. It seems like the Duke cannot quite punch this forward with the amount of Roaches that he has.
But Negus shouldn't be attacking out here. What is he doing with this Zealot? Is that just rallying across the map?
And here comes the next Roach punch.
Yeah, this is just... There's not a lot of hope left here for the NegusofNay, I have to say. Although, no, because he's totally mined out in his main. There's no mining for anyone right now, is there? As you were saying, the Duke has 4 drones. NegusofNay has no available mineral patches. But another big warp into Zealots for the NegusofNay up north.
Yeah, there we go. It's that Zealot Orphans. It takes out the natural, and it's kind of a desperation play. But once again, in a base trade situation here,
I like the mentality though.
Yeah, it's a hope.
If he had earlier, he does have a probe out somewhere. I think. I felt like I saw one run by. But if he can get a probe out and start hiding things around the map, this is a good strategy. I like the base race idea here because he doesn't have a whole lot he can really work with.
Although once the roaches come back though and just clean out this, and then that's going to really spell the.
Well, or if behind this he had expanded.
Yes. And there we go.
There, NegusofNay leaves the game. If he
there was a GG call just to say, but it was in person.
So I've played these games. We're usually on Skype while we play them.
So, but yeah, there was no BM. Don't worry.
So that way we can BM each other in person and nothing clutters up the chat. It happens.
But yes, so this game is a pretty classic, just harassment versus sitting on your defense and economy, kind of example. Where
letting your opponent wear himself out.
Yeah, and the just letting your macro do your work for you. Essentially, with more units, you're gonna win.
Pretty much, yeah. But this is a best of 3, so this is just game 1. So we are going to take a short break and bring you game number 2 here in a minute. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you will join us for game number 2.